I dog-ear my books, willingly crack the spine, and write frequently all over the page. Everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be me reacting to your unpopular book opinions. So we're going to see if you have opinions that are similar as me, that might be unpopular, or if your opinion sucks. I have a thread from my past video. I've been avoiding it, and I am curious to see if your opinions are actually unpopular, or if we agree, maybe both of our opinions are unpopular. And we're gonna have fun with this. So I'm ready to like judge all of you. And so is like my awkward little cat on this shirt. How cool is it? It's like coming out of the pocket. I obviously needed this shirt. So let's do this. I even have a cat, like I'm starting to like look like a crazy cat lady and I'm okay with it. So let's do this. I really hate Shatter Me, Hunger Games, Twilight, Mortal Instruments, Divergent series. I feel like hating YA books is like almost fun. Like everyone hates them on the internet, but I overall agree. I didn't like Shatter Me. I didn't like Mortal Instruments, but I understand how they're like readable and people enjoy going through them. They're very easy to go through them fast. Some people really get attached to characters. I feel like very often they're written so vague that people kind of can project whatever they want into the characters or see themselves in there and get just very attached that way. And that's fine. I feel like I enjoyed the first Divergent book. I enjoyed the first Hunger Games book. So really, I'm not judging anyone. Even Twilight, okay? Like, obviously I was super young when I read them and I would now see a lot of the issues, but I read them and found them readable. I think that the best part was that it was so easy because everyone was reading it, so you could read it and talk about it with other people. And I feel like it's not something I can do actually often with books. So I think that was fun, but I don't think it's that unpopular anymore. I feel like there's either people hate all of them or people love them and will kill you for that opinion. But it's not unpopular here. We're okay with this. I also really hate Ron and Hermione as a couple. Same, girl, same. Like 100% no. They just don't work together. And I mean, even the author said that it was like wish fulfillment. So I think we're good. But yeah, a lot of people say that they would work together and I disagree too. So I really didn't like Vin from Mistborn, found her annoying and thought she had no chemistry with Ellen. I don't think she's supposed to be the most lovable character. I think she went through some shit and had to like develop this type of personality. So I don't really disagree. I guess it might be an unpopular opinion. And I agree with Ellen. I feel like I'm not a fan of romance, and at least Brandon Sanderson tends to not make it the center of his books. But yeah, I agree. It was very bland, so it was kind of easy to make them go together. But sometimes classics are way overrated, and most people are just afraid of saying it out loud they didn't like the book. Agreed. Oh, I think I just found a real unpopular opinion. It's okay to skip the boring parts in a book. Oh, when we're reading. You got me scared for a second. I was like, who is insane enough to like skip while they're actually reading a book? I know some people actually do that and that's just messed up. But when rereading, yeah, that's fine. I'll allow it. Victoria Schwab's books are better as ideas. Once she executes them, they come out average at best. Oh, that's actually... that was hot. Okay, I feel you. I think a lot of people feel this way with the Shades of Magic trilogy, and I don't fully disagree. I do think some of the characters needed more development, and Leela, the main female character in the third book, was just freaking ridiculous. So out of character, like she was such a caricature. So for that I would agree, but obviously, if you want to, I would recommend reading Vengeful, which is the second book in the Villain's duology, because I was really impressed by her in that one. I feel like it's her best so far that I've read, at least. It's like my sixth book by her, and it's definitely the best one out of all of them. So I don't completely disagree. I think the internet would disagree with you. So I just finished Cinder by Marissa Meyer, and I don't understand the hype. Yeah, the internet will kill you, girl. I agree. I think it's a good idea and just a boring filler-filled result. The Wayward Children is not outstanding. I appreciate the intention but found the execution lacking. I was bored and unimpressed, unfortunately. Again, hide. They will find you. I agree. I was disappointed with most of them. The last book, in my opinion, the fourth one, is by far the best one. So if you survived reading at least the first one, I would recommend reading the fourth one. I still think there's a little bit lacking because she tends to like skip the action parts because they're so short. And I wish there was like a little bit more in there, but I feel like that one was the best book, at least, again, in my opinion. Brandon Sanderson is one of my favorite authors. Same. But I despise Stillheart with my entire being. I must have had a big chunk of my life reduced while reading that book because of how much I hated it. Can still feel the anger. Agreed. It's by far my least favorite book by him that I've read. And I hate when people are like, oh, you rave about him and I read that book and it sucks. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like that book either. Like, it's a fantastic idea. It's basically like people start becoming superheroes, but instead of being superheroes, they're supervillains. And I loved it, the idea. And as always, like, the ending is good, but the main freaking character is a teenager and he sucks. And there's like a ridiculous, cringy romance and it's just... I really did not like the book, and by not like, I gave it 3.5 stars, so it's still a good book because of the idea and where it seems to be going. But it's a trilogy, and I've yet to finish any other book than the first one. So really, I agree. I do think it might be unpopular, because some people do enjoy it, but I was so disappointed about that book, so I feel you. I really didn't like The Hobbit. I do think it's an unpopular opinion, but not here. I struggled to finish it. I loved Lord of the Rings. I was so excited to go to it, and I feel like it's one of those books that if you read it as a kid and like someone read it to you as a kid or type of thing, you might love it, or if you're someone that still likes middle grade books, but I don't really care for them, and I didn't like it. That's definitely an unpopular opinion, but I'm glad I'm not alone. Mistborn and Name of the Wind are two of the worst adult fantasy I've ever read. I have yet to read A Name of the Wind because I do not want to torture myself since the third book will just never happen. But I did enjoy Mistborn. I do feel like at this point it's overhyped because everyone is raving so much about it that everyone's expectation is so high. But it's still one of my favorite world building magical system. Like, the concept was just brilliant. But I feel like, again, people are making it into this big thing that it will never live up to that hype. But it is one of my favorite books, series. So, but Name of the Wind, I can't tell. But that's definitely an unpopular opinion. I'll give you that. Sarah J. Maas doesn't know how to write a healthy romance and is way overrated. Yes. Everyone loves her romance in her books, and I feel like it's the same thing over and over again. And her characters... Okay, in Throne of Glass, I read the first book. It absolutely feels like the characters are so bland, the two male characters, and like out of nowhere they're into her. So it's like, it's easy to start a relationship that way. They're just no one and everyone at the same time. But yeah, I agree. The first book in the, ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses, so ridiculous relationship. I hated it. And I hated talking about it to anyone that had just read the first book because they're so into it. And I'm like, y'all messed up. I love Lila Bard. That's the girl from Shade of Magic trilogy by B. Schwab. I liked her. This is my unpopular opinion. I liked the second book. Everyone hated it. I liked it a lot. But I hated her in the last book because, again, she became flat as hell. So I guess that's unpopular. And YA high fantasy does not know how to world build. Yes, there's just no world building. You're right. I've grown out of Harry Potter. No, you did not just say that. Please just unsubscribe and never watch my videos ever again. You're not welcome here. Never read it again since I was 17, probably. Shut the front door. No. I reviewed it every like 2 years max. So I hate you a little bit. We're judging you here. Still like Aragorn. Reread it last year. How? I could not stand it. It was just so annoying and badly written. But, you know, I guess, I don't know if it's popular or unpopular. I feel like it's one of those things people either love or hate, so I'll allow it. When I was a teen, I really liked Twilight. So did everyone. I'm sorry, but like everyone that pretends they hated it are just lying. That's my opinion. Here's a very unpopular opinion. We're ready for it. I was Team Jacob back when I read Twilight. Same. A Bunny Ear short story collection. Is that like Dog Ear but bunny version? So I can see how far I've left to read. That hurts my soul when people do that. Like, what did that book ever do to you? Like, how dare you just harm it? I never do. Like, I'll use anything to not actually damage the book. So I don't understand why people do it. And like, the worst part would be like when you let people read one of your books and like it's in pristine condition and they give it back to you and it's like completely destroyed and dog-eared, and I'm like, we can't be friends anymore. Like, why would you do that? I got two. First, if the first words out of a reviewer's mouth about a book are how feminist or diverse a book cast is, I drop it on my TBR because I want to hear about how good it is. Just to me, if that's what you mentioned first, the rest of the book isn't good enough to stand on its story alone. Oh, 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 oh. Okay. I understand how at times it can get annoying when the only thing people say about a book or a book series, especially the new YA one, is how it's diverse or, yeah, some representation. I understand how I get annoyed because it sometimes feels like it's just marketing, not on the YouTuber's part, just like the publishing company. It's great that there is more representation, but the book can still be shit, and just because it's diverse doesn't make it better. That I understand. I do disagree, although, with the rest of the idea that, like, if it's the first thing out of their mouth, because they might just be happy about it. Like, as long as they say other things about the book, I'm okay with it. Because I've literally had comments, like, people being oh so freaking edgy on the internet, being like, oh, you said the word diverse, like, on, like, this, like, click out of the video, you suck, type of thing. And I'm like, y'all stupid. Like, straight up stupid. Like, even on my Goodreads, again, I'll do a video about my stupid comments on Goodreads, having men being like, I don't understand why it's important, type of thing, and I'm like, why is it mentioned? It's like, dude, you're a freaking middle-aged white guy. Like, of course it's not important to you that there's representation because you've always been represented. Like, let everyone else have a little bit. If you don't care to that extreme, then why the fuck are you commenting about it? Maybe you care more than you think, you know? Second, unpopular opinion. I'll continue because that was definitely unpopular. Second, I hated the Poppy War. Ugh, my soul. I feel like people have been starting to come out and saying they dislike it, and I hate all of you. I always feel the need to, like, kind of confirm to everyone that I'm joking, but, like, I shouldn't have to, but it's the internet, so I have to. Everyone on BookTube loved it, and I was so disappointed. The character development was awful. I won't say anything that is spoilery, okay? I'll just say the biggest lines. The character development was awful. Choices made by individual were idiotic at best. The pacing was awful, and I'm still not over why the hell a military school had such god-awful defenses. I don't disagree. I also agree that the first half was the best part because it's like school setting, and I love school settings. Yeah, I mean, it did feel at times that it was written by a debut author, which it is, so I think I'm giving the author a little bit of a break with some of that stuff, and I'm looking forward to book 2 to figure out if things are improving or not, but I guess that's unpopular. Okay. Everything, and The Sun Is Also a Star did not deserve all that hype. Yes! I think we agree on this unpopular opinion because clearly on Goodreads it has like 5 billion stars. The romances were so painful. In both cases, I was fine with the beginning, I was fine with the characters, I just would have the biggest indigestion from all that lactose. Like, it's so freaking cheesy that, like, I could not deal. I didn't even watch the movie Everything, because I got so freaking mad by the ending, which, one, so predictable, but just so awful. Agreed, for sure. I don't like the Night Circus. I thought the ending was a cop-out. Yes, definitely unpopular on BookTube, or Goodreads. I agree. It was, I think, more about the writing and the atmospheric feeling than by the story. Yeah, definitely not on my favorite list at all. I actually got rid of it, so. Vin from Mistborn is such a flat token female. I don't disagree. I don't feel like anyone would say that character development is Brennison's forte, so I feel you. I do not like people who like Jane Austen. Fuck, you don't like me? Is that what it is? Like, are you coming? I'm feeling very attacked right now. There's this weird subculture around her works. I'm not aware of that, but noted. I have read 3 of her books so far and enjoy them. I think a lot of people forget that they're supposed to be funny and they take it literally and they're like, this is just the weirdest romance ever. But unpopular, I'll give you that. I hated The Alchemist. Again, that's one of those books that people either love or hate. It's magical realism, so you know where I stand there. I tried reading Vicious 3 times and couldn't get into it. It's not my favorite, but book 2 is so good that it compensates, I'm telling you. I have no interest in reading Harry Potter. Stop, people, stop. That hurts my soul. Damn, did you watch the movies at least? Like, please tell me you at least watched the movies. I literally have people coming around and telling me they've never watched Lord of the Rings. Like, we can't be friends anymore. One more thing. I don't care about diversity in a book. Did we just address that? Do I need to say it again? Nowadays, I think authors forces it in their books. I agree. But again, I recently read The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet and felt like it was too preachy about its diverse characters. I like that book because aliens are so different and they're obviously supposed to be different. And I actually appreciated diversity, and I do feel like it's very accessible if you're someone that likes the YA contemporary diverse books that keep coming out. That one is really great. It's very wholesome for a sci-fi. And the author is gay, so it's great. How many, like, okay, here's the real tea, okay? Like, y'all not getting me real tea. I will give you some real tea. So is it me or the internet, whether like BookTube or I also have a beauty channel, so the beauty community, gay men, or I should say gay cis men, are very accepted. Yes, it's a bubble, I guess, but even generally on YouTube, it seems to be more accepted. And I am left wondering, where are all the other people? I feel like I look at the beauty community and I'm like, don't tell me there are like millions of women posting beauty videos and everyone is straight. There's no freaking way. And I feel like there's also not that much representation in books. I feel like I can name you 10 books with a coming of age YA contemporary book with a gay man. What about the women? Or anyone else? I can't name you like pretty much anyone. So I appreciate that this author is actually not straight and she has great representation in her book. Even the last book, like her books are very relaxing. They're not my like most favorite books because they're more character driven and I tend to be more action driven book type of person. But in this book, for example, there is a gay female couple and they're actually older, which again, when do you get representation for older women, especially gay women? And it's not even actually an important part in the story. It just is. And I love that. So yeah, I guess you do have an unpopular opinion, but I think I gave the real tea here. So just saying. Okay, this is about Ms. Bourne once again. Ellen was the blandest character ever. I agree, but I do want to mention that I think he was kind of meant to be a little bland because of his upbringing. Just my opinion. At one point I was hoping she'd go to the dark side with saying, yes, yes! I was so rooting for that. I didn't think anyone was feeling like that too, and I'm like, yeah, just to spice things up. Yes. I really hated Fahrenheit 451. Maybe because I had to read it for school, but I hated it so much. I had to read it in school, like in high school when I didn't speak English, like at all, but I had to read it in my English class. And I'm sorry, but like how freaking messed up do you have to be as a teacher to force people that barely speak English to try and read this book? If you've ever tried to read this, hard. Just say hard is the only way to like describe it. I like the idea of this book. I reread it last year, the year before, because I wanted to actually know what the story is about because I never freaking figured that out in high school. And I like the idea, don't like the writing, kind of meh execution in my opinion. And I feel like it's one of those classic books that people are like, oh yeah, I loved it. And I'm like, yeah, sure you did. I don't care how many trees are saved. I think digital books are garbage. I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion on BookTube because everyone seems to have like ridiculous shelves full of books and stuff. You know, it's okay to be like a purist wanting to read a physical book. I've been trying to get over that. I do listen to a bunch of audiobooks and I do try to get books, like ebooks from my library. And I've noticed that I struggle to finish books when they're longer. Like The Priory of the Orange Tree, for example. The book is like 835 pages or something. At 500 pages, I just couldn't continue because I was like, I hated the phone. But I find it super convenient. Like when I'm, I don't know, at the dentist and I have to wait type of thing. My preference is physical books too. So I don't know if it's unpopular. I feel like a lot of people are starting to just get rid of all their books and have them under Kindle or something. But you can't beat the feeling of physical book, you know? I dislike books that have pretty writing just for the sake of showing your vocabulary. They're all making me say stuff that will get people to hate me, but I agree. I don't like the snob people that are being like, oh, the writing was so poor. Like, it's definitely my issue with YA books. And I'm like, okay. And all I can think of is like, are you one of those people that only watch documentaries? Like, is that the real tea here? Because don't be a snob. Next thing we know, you're just gonna be like, I only read nonfiction too. Look, I love an eloquent statement like everyone else, but if you have a character that has a third grade education, it doesn't make sense. Agreed. What was it? Like recently I was talking about The Unbecoming of Mary Dyer, and like the male character starts quoting Lolita. And I'm like, no freaking teenager starts quoting that book to a female character to impress her, because... And then her knowing that it's from that book and also being into it. Bish, please, that never happens, like, ever. And yeah, I do feel like YA authors seems to think that teenagers are so educated. And I'm not saying it never happens, but it never happens. 1984 is boring. Yes. Oh my god, yes. It's one of those other books that when someone tells me it's their favorite book, I kind of judge them a little bit inside. I finished it. I appreciated the idea, but I don't think it's actually meant to be super fun because, you know, of the environment and stuff. But I also did find it boring at times. And by at times, I do mean a lot of the time. Ebooks are just as good, if not better, than physical books. Cheaper and more accessible. I don't find them cheaper. I hate how they're actually not cheaper. They should be cheaper. You should get the ebook version when you buy a brand new book physically. That's my opinion, because it's so stupid. I guess it's unpopular. They're definitely not more accessible. Well, I mean, on the internet, sure, but like, I can buy, most of my books are used and it's cheaper than the ebooks. I hate YA. It's the same whining garbage. There's definitely a handful that I love from when I was a young adult, but I got over YA so fast. I do like YA, like, in general, because I find, once again, they're very readable. You can go through them quite fast. The ideas are often great, and I appreciate the representation and how they make reading more accessible for a lot of people. And I like them for that. And I do have some favorites that are YA, so it's not me being snobbish or anything. But I do agree that I tend to read more garbage book that are YA, probably because I tend to have to do more research, I guess, for the books that are adult that I read. So, but I mean, I've read so many garbage thriller mystery lately that I guess I think they're just garbage books for every genre, right? I had asked if people thought that audiobooks don't count, because there's always that snobbish person being like, it doesn't count as reading. And I'm like, dude, there are research that proved that it is the same freaking thing, so like, sit down. Male authors really struggle to write good female characters. Is that really an unpopular opinion? Not on this channel. And I say that as someone that has liked, actually, in the last couple of like books that I've read, I found some decent female characters written by men, like Red Sister by Mark Lawrence, or even Nevernight by J. Kristoff, or at least decent female characters in my opinion, and they were written by men. I get so much hate for calling out all the sexist shit that I read, and I don't think it's an unpopular opinion here, but I think it's an unpopular opinion clearly on the internet from the feedback that I get. You know what? I really need to do that video. I just am not ready for the like stupid feedback that I'll get, but I think it's gonna be worth it for all of us decent people. I didn't like Looking for Alaska. I didn't read any John Green's book. Like, let's just put it out there, because I feel like I will not like them. Is that an unpopular opinion? Because that's how I feel. I prefer male characters over female ones, because I feel that even female authors struggle to get the right balance between with female characters. Ouch. I don't I understand you in the sense that I feel like, especially in YA books, to overcompensate for the fact that it's a female character, they have to make her special, and I always call it special snowflake because it's always the same thing. It's the prettiest girl alive that everyone will want, while being very relatable because she's so average looking, so the reader can like feel like they could be her. And for some reason, even though she's the biggest badass ever and she could kill anyone by just, you know, flicking them, even big strong men, she has that special reason that allow her to kill all those people while being very, very skinny and pretty. And I'm so freaking sick of it. So yeah, once again, I would recommend Nevernight or Red Sister because they're not like that, and I appreciated that, and they're even written by men, just saying. But I can understand her frustration, but I don't prefer main male characters because, again, a lot of times I feel like it really depends on your books. Like, I feel like you could think that, but then main male characters, there's a bunch of freaking sexist shit in so many fantasy books. Like, the Black Prism, for example. That was cringy. Okay, that's unpopular. People who don't annotate, interact with their books are missing out a lot on the book experience. I never write into my books unless I have to, like with school. I had to sometimes. I prefer to stick to my Post-its, which do I have it? Every time I do a reading vlog now, I use my Post-its because they're so freaking funny. And that's like as far as I will get to annotating my books because I am not a monster. This is probably a really unpopular opinion. I don't like Neil Gaiman's book. Not here. Girl, I feel you. I've read 6 of his books. The only one you liked was Good Omens. I do plan on reading that one because it's also written by Terry Pratchett, so I'm hoping it's going to compensate. But I've only read The Ocean at the End of the Lane, and it's magical realism, so you know where I stand there. Didn't like it. I didn't hate it. It's just, I hated the last part when it became magical. Isn't it weird though that I love fantasy, magics, and stuff like that, but like magical realism makes me cringe because it feels like uprooted. Oh, the magic of the forest and long sentences that don't mean shit to me and I just hate it. And that's kind of how I feel about magical realism if you didn't know. But yeah, ever since that, I have not wanted to pick anything else by him. And I do have like Neverwhere on my shelves, and again, I do have Good Omens, so I'll try that one, but like, I feel you, to be honest. I do. Harry Potter is overrated. Stop, people! You're hurting me! Most people only love it because at the time it did something somewhat unique. I think that the world is better than the actual story. Look, I'm sure you're a decent person, but we no. I think a lot of people love Harry Potter because of when they read it, growing up with it, being the same age as the character was fantastic. And I think it's my favorite school setting ever because I feel like school setting never lasts the whole story ever. And you knew guaranteed that every year you would be a full year back in school. I love having all the like little jokes between the classes, being in classes, learning what they're learning. I thought that was fascinating and super well done. Some people found the story a little repetitive. I didn't have any issue with that. I'm okay with the story. Is it the best story I've ever read? Probably not. Do I agree that the world is amazing? Yes. But that's going to be where we stop agreeing. Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell is overhyped. Yes. If you want a book where nothing happens and the romance is stupid, that's your book. I do feel like it's popular, but like, it's one of those books like, you know those YA books that are like literally this thick and nothing happens? It's just full of filler. I don't like it. And like the writing is like this big and the space between each sentence is this big, so the Raven Cycle is not that good. Everyone on the internet is crying here. I read the first one and magical realism, huh? I thought it was okay. I have yet to continue. I'm planning actually on doing probably at the end of the summer, I'll do like a readathon or little reading vlog with myself, reading the whole series, because I want to know why everyone is raving about it, because I read the first one, and the first one in a lot of YA series don't really go anywhere, and I am hoping that maybe I will change my mind and I will understand why everyone raves about it. They're short books, so it shouldn't be a big deal. I must confess I really like the Twilight series except for Breaking Down. It's like comfort food. Yeah, Yeah, I can see that being a thing. Those are all your unpopular opinions. To be honest, I don't think they're that unpopular, at least not on here. Do you have any other unpopular opinions that you wish to talk about in the comment section? I would love to reply to you. Let me know if you have different unpopular opinions than the ones I've mentioned. I could actually do a video about mine because I have some, I've mentioned a couple here, but I think I have way more than that, and that could be fun to talk about. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe because you definitely don't want to miss any future videos. I will be putting some on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I will see you, and so will this cat, in a different video. Bye.